Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask a Medium radio show here on Para-X Radio, coming to you from the Ivy League Psychic Academy at 4511 Main Street in Amherst, New York, where we are raising up the next generation of light workers. I am Ivy Rivera. I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Theresa Matuszak. How are you, Tree?
I'm great. Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Pretty good. We have a couple... Hey, everybody, because they can see this.
Yeah, no worries. Okay.
No, it'll be an interesting night. Carry on. So you know, we're using our imaginations here plenty tonight. So we have a couple interns in here with us as well. So looking forward to having you guys with us. Thank you for being here. And we have a special guest on with us tonight, author Clay Smith, author of The Book of Clay, and All You Know is What You Think You Know. And I know that he's working on a few new things coming up, and we're excited to have him with us today. We're going to be speaking on Law of Attraction. Clay, are you here?
I'm here, ladies. How are you all tonight?
Wonderful.
Hello.
Good to have you. Okay, and
Great to be here.
Excellent. And if you guys want to send in your questions, you are welcome to do that, whether you're sending them in like for Clay or you're sending them in for Tree and I. Later in the show, we will be taking your psychic, mediumship, paranormal, lost objects questions. So you can text them in to 716-602-1391. I'll give that one more time, 716-602-1391. 1391, or you can send them in through Para-X Radio, and we're also taking them on Facebook, I believe. So
yes, the Ask a Medium Para-X event page, basically. So they just go up on Facebook, and up at the search bar, just type in Ask a Medium Para-X, it'll pop up. And I can post them there.
There you go, guys. All right. So now Clay has written, several different books here, and I know that you're working on a second volume, Book of Clay. Can you tell us a little bit what this is about?
Well, basically, excuse me, clearing my throat. It ties into the topic we're going to talk about a little bit later on, as far as intention, which everything we deal with, both whether you want to call it spiritual or even from the scientific standpoint, we talk from a matter of energy and energetics. And occasionally, when you connect with the energy that, the higher energy, whatever you want to call it, if you want to call it God or Allah or Jesus or Justin Bieber, whatever your taste is.
Justin Bieber. I do, yes.
but when you connect, when you connect with what you call your higher being, things come to you that to you may be inspirational and that possibly could help someone else who maybe hasn't gotten to that point yet. So the Book of Clay, both the first one that I wrote and the one coming up, are things that came to me in those states of just connectivity, which, whether it be intentionality, whatever term you want to use. They come to me, I write them down, and hopefully somebody gets something out of them when they read them.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, I want to say Clay also has a show called Spirit Watch Radio on Live Paranormal, so be listening for him there while he talks on these topics. This is an incredibly healing and fascinating topic. Tree and I are always getting into this, trying to help people to understand how to elevate their energy and bring more positivity into their lives. I think it's really interesting that you say that even if you're concentrating on Justin Bieber as God, that literally, I mean, it works. Can you talk to us a little bit more about either the science behind it or day-to-day tips that people can use?
Well, excuse me again, the allergies are kicking in. Let's think of it as talking from a scientific standpoint, and then we can analogize it to a spiritual or a humanistic standpoint. If you take a piece of iron, everything is made up of electrons, has electrons, but a piece of iron, all the electrons are in total disarray. For example, if we were speaking about a person, their thought process, they're all over the board. They're thinking about the new cell phone, they're thinking about family situations, whatever. But if you take that piece of iron and you magnetize it, all those electrons become energized and the piece of iron itself becomes an energetic force. The same way with a human, when we get all of our feelings, we get our focus, we attach to that higher power, then we become a human energy field as well too, which enables us not only to think clearly and connect with a higher intention. Intent is not something that we do. Intent is just connecting with, again, that higher force. It also enables us to get into practices like mediumship, Reiki, remote viewing, because the energy that we're generating can be communicated not only at the universal level, but person to person as well too. So it's kind of like getting all your ducks in a row, and if you haven't gotten around to that point of awakening, those are the people that have a trouble understanding what exactly we're talking about.
I knew you were going to say ducks in a row. It's like I'm psychic or something. That's exactly the way that you're summing it up. That's what it feels like. Is instead of, it's that simple, that instead of scattered energy everywhere, you kind of energetically put your ducks in a row, and you can hear more about the direction that you're supposed to be going in. There are so many people who are lost, so many people who just have no sense of direction whatsoever. So what you're talking about is just huge. Yeah.
Let me add something else, if I may. There are three types of people that I usually end up dealing with when I do lectures or I meet on the street. And there's a group that I call open vessels. Those are the people that are going to believe everything they read and take it in and pass it on, and without any reference. There's going to be skeptics. Skeptics, they're not sure, but they're willing to listen and possibly learn and things like that. Then there are what they call cynics. Cynics will dismiss everything they hear if it's outside the realm of knowledge or outside the realm of emotion, and don't even bother to accept anything. So what I tell people to do is, when you listen to my show, your show here, or what you read, everybody be a skeptic, because we're in a great position right now as a society. We're in a position where our spirituality is being confirmed by science, and all too often, my favorite saying is, conversations get lost in words, because we end up saying the same thing, but just use different terminology based upon the basic knowledge we have. I'm not a physicist. I can't sit here and rattle off all the quantum physics details that people would like to hear if they're a physicist. But at the same time, most people can't do that either. And if you talk to a physicist and you talk to them about Reiki, or you talk to them about psychic mediumship, the words don't match up. So it's a matter of communication and getting people to come toward the middle and accept things so we can move forward. Because I think right now we're at a great time where things are going to start coming together, and it's going to be more and more accepted by the public in general.
Well, amen to that. Yeah, and there really is no harm in being a skeptic. I think I think of you as being one. I mean, certainly the perspective you're coming at things from. I know I am. Tree, you are as well. I mean, we really don't just when somebody says, to me, well, how could this be? This is impossible, and that's every day, of course. Well, how could you be psychic or a medium? Like this doesn't exist. This is impossible. And I think that's good. Keep that mindset. Allow it to be proven, but be open enough to examine where in your life this could be. If you've got every door shut, you're not even open enough to, possibly let it in through even a series of exercises or something that would be good for you regardless. And it's not forcing it in. And the law of attraction is a great way to do that, because even if people don't want to have anything to do with psychic ability, mediumship ability, the paranormal world, they think all of this is a wash. Even if they believe that, everybody wants more prosperity. Everybody wants a sense of direction. Everybody's searching for happiness or a sense of peace. And focusing on the law of attraction or manifestation, can bring them there. Is that basically, sort of the angle you're coming at this from, Clay?
Exactly. I'll give you a personal example. This past May, I sold a business that I had for 21 years. I had it listed on the market for about a year and a half prior to it being sold. And yes, it was listed, but I really wasn't pushing it or anything like that. But one day I was kind of tired, and I wanted to move on and do some different things. I walked through the front door of my business one morning. I locked the door behind me, I just stop there and I say, okay, it's been 20 years now. I said, you've been good to me. I've been good to you. Let's find someone who can take care of you and treat you the way I've treated you. 3 o'clock that afternoon, I got a phone call from a lady interested in buying the business, and 6 months later, the deal was closed.
Surreal. Wow. There you go. When it's time, it's time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a simple step. I mean, when I do lectures, I explain to people about vibrations and how they have to connect. I mean, musicians, if you have a tuning fork, if you take a C tuning fork and you tap it and you hold another C tuning fork next to it, it's going to make the second one vibrate without being tapped. But if you take a different tuning fork, if you tap that C and hold an A next to it, it's not going to vibrate because they don't connect. So resonant vibrations are real important, and it's true science, and that's the way, when you do mediumship or when you do psychic readings or when you do Reiki, those energies, those things have to connect, and it's real important. It's not mumbo jumbo. It's been proven. It's just we can't get the common media to look at it from a serious aspect. Every time they talk about mediumship, for example, they talk about reality shows, which are just embarrassing at times, or most of the time. And if they talk about a ghost appearances, that are making fun of it. So we really don't have any true coverage where people can actually be accepted as much as they should be for us to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we're trying to get out there more from the Academy here is that you do, like, energy attracts like energy. And if you're full of fear, you're full of maybe toxic energy or lower energies, that it will bring more of that on. And when that starts to, happen, it develops into things like, confusion in the brain, depression, and then we're dealing with, attachments and all kinds of other things, anxiety disorders, ADD. And that's, again, even with like the ADD and things like this, it's that scattered energy. And there's a lot going on with people these days, and with all the meds that they're on and everything, where, it really is fear-based. It's just disorganized, fear-based energy. And there are a lot of simple things that we can do to become healthier, again, whether we believe or not in all of this. So what can you talk to people about as far as like day-to-day tips are concerned, or what do you even do for yourself?
I realize that there's nothing really that important in life. I realize that if I would die today, my family would miss me for a while and think about me occasionally, but people who know you on a professional level or even a friendship level, in 5 years, it'll be like I was never here. So there's nothing that pressing that I worry about as far as, do I have enough money this week, or am I worried about my possessions? Am I worried about what people think of me? I just kind of, set that aside. I treat everybody on an equal scale, and if you relax the mind, I can't sit still and meditate. I meditate as I do everything every day. I keep moving, and I process thoughts, and I do that. So a lot of people get hung up on the fact they've got to sit in the dark room and be quiet, and I wish I could do that.
It's a nightmare. I can't do it either. I know. I call it motion meditation. I can get there, but I have to be active, or I'll just go crazy, be unhappy.
Yeah, I studied 10 years of Chinese martial arts, which included Tai Chi, which they call moving meditation.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I do. As I instead of doing Tai Chi moves, I still do those occasionally, but instead of doing those, I figure that everything I do is a Tai Chi type move, and I just relax and don't fight it, don't push it. Let things happen. Don't try to make things happen. You can't make things happen. You have to allow the energy to connect on its own. You can't sit there and make a face and say, I'm going to make this happen, I'm going to make this happen. You have to allow it to happen. That's the important thing.
Mm-hmm. And what do you recommend that people do when they have a lot of, I almost want to say, like, negative energy in their life that they know that they need to let go of, but they feel as though it's still of some use to them, or I seem to bump into a lot of people who have convinced themselves that they require some negative energy in their life to almost keep them productive or the way that they are in some way, or it's holding something together. Well, I can't let go of this because it's holding something together. For those people, or for the people who are ready to let go but really don't know how, what advice can you give them on just the beginner's tips on how to let go?
Boy, there's a kind of saying thing about, my wife does psychic medium work as well, and she does Reiki teaching and all that. And we talk about these things a lot. And some people just aren't ready yet. All you can do is, shows like yours and shows like mine, we can put information out there and allow them to take it in. And when it's ready for them, that's when it's going to happen. You can't, again, like I said about everything else, you can't make the connection happen. You have to allow it to happen. Sometimes it takes a tragic situation in their life or to get them to that point. Sometimes it's all about connectivity we talked about. If we set the good example, if we show them how being balanced spiritually, emotionally works well for us, and that the priorities in life are better than what they're living now, I think that's the best we can do. You can't force someone who's at that point to get to that point. You can't drive a car on the highway if there's no gas in it, and they have empty tanks right now. So we just kind of have to keep filling their tanks up with positive thoughts, with information, so they can, when their time does come, they have the tools to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yep, road trip. Yep. Well, absolutely. That really is kind of the best that we could do. It's about awareness, and it's fun to expose people in the general public who aren't really thinking in these terms or aren't necessarily open to any of this. It's interesting just to keep putting the thoughts out there. I think the big thing we need to do too, that I appreciate you're doing, Clay, is to come at it from another perspective. We can't keep beating a dead horse. I mean, my God, the same old airy-fairy, it's not working anymore. It's been too long. The whole, light and love and harmony and peace and all of this has had its place. I feel like we need to come at it from a more serious perspective. We need to come at this from a scientific, medical, with an agenda here to show how all of this is connected. Psychic ability, intuitive ability, energy absorption, empathic ability, all of this is affecting us every day. People like to see themselves as being in or out, that there are two different categories of us, and it's not that way. It's all of us are affected by it every day involuntarily, and the more awareness we can bring to that, absolutely, I totally agree, the better. I like what you said too about basically thoughts. I thought it was so cool when you were like, oh, I was sitting at my desk, because this is really all it is. You're sitting at your desk, you had the thought that maybe it was time to let the business go. You showed gratitude toward your business, and you wanted to keep caring, for it and best care for you. And immediately the help that you needed to be able to continue on with that journey stepped in. So it does seem that, for most people, do you agree that it can just be that one thought that triggers a whole motion of positive and negative energy? So we really just need to be mindful.
Well, what we need to address also is that those negative thoughts can manifest themselves in physical manifestations. My wife and I have dealt with a couple cases where people have held on to tragic situations they've been through, which have actually manifested poltergeist-type activities, until we were able to go in and actually do the work, both from her aspect of what she does and what I do, and clear out some problems for people. Because the mind is a powerful thing. People don't realize, if we were able to sit down and focus. I don't know if you're familiar with, there's a lady by the name of Candace Pert. She's passed away now. She was a neuroscientist, neurobiologist for NIH, and she wrote several books. Every time you have a thought, your brain creates what's called a neuropeptide. And through science, what they found out is that these neuropeptides don't stay just in the brain. They found them throughout the body. So potentially we have, well, you've heard the term, worry yourself sick. We have the capability to make ourselves well, the capability to heal ourselves through the thought process. That's science. That's documented. It's not woo-woo stuff that used to go to an herb shop 25 years ago and pull the guy on the back who's smoking a joint and he's going to tell you what the wise is. So, and that's what we do when my wife and I, when we lecture together. She talks about the work that she does, and then I explain how it's possible for that to happen from a scientific standpoint.
I love it. And I know you guys are involved in paranormal investigations and all of that. Something that we're really trying to bring as much exposure to here on our end as well. Just letting people know that a lot of what's going on with paranormal, haunting, attachment issues, it's really not the house that's typically haunted. It could be the people that are haunted, and it really does come down to thought patterns and what we're open to and what we're feeding. Trey, I know you have a question for him.
Yeah, hi Clay.
Hi.
I was just kind of wondering, going on that whole topic with with the paranormal and everything like that, what would you say is the most common question or even common occurrence that you answer, that you deal with on a basis?
Oh boy. To be honest with you, most of the questions I get, they tend to be a little frustrating because we'll do lectures and we'll talk about the work that Joy does, and then I'll do the scientific explanation. And at the end, I'll have 3 or 4 people come up, and the first question out of the mouth is, "What's the scariest you've ever been?" It's kind of like they didn't listen to anything that I had to say. People talk about ghosts. They want to tell you a ghost story, but what I try to open them up to is we don't know what a ghost is. We can sit here and say that it's the energy of the person who has died, but then you have to go back and you have to redefine death. Our bodies might stop, but our bodies are energetic things. The energy is carried within this this body, this vessel, whatever you want to call it, and our energy moves on. And physicists, theoretical physicists say there are 11 different dimensions. So that energy could transport itself to a different dimension. For example, one of my mentors, a guy I love to death as a friend and as a mentor, is John Tenney. And one of his favorite things to say when he does a lecture is, "Do ghosts wear underwear?" Because whenever you see a ghost, it's always clothes. So when we see an apparition, we take a picture of an apparition, maybe we're just seeing that energy, without even that time frame from 200, 300 years ago, still existing in a parallel universe with ours. And for that very 1/15th of a second, we were able to capture it on film, or we saw it with our eyes. And sometimes it just gets oversimplified, I think. A lot of people like to be scared. They like ghost stories. I understand that. But I'd like to take it to a deeper level where we can get some credibility in what we're talking about. So usually it's just, people say, "Well, I'm afraid of ghosts." I said, why are you afraid of ghosts? I mean, be more afraid about getting hit by a school bus when you're here tonight. Mm-hmm. How many ghosts have you seen? Well, I've never seen one, but I don't know if I want to see one. And then my comeback always is, have you ever had someone who you're very close to, a grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncle, parent, who you'd love to see again? And I say, yeah. I said, well, then you're not afraid of ghosts.
I was going to say, when somebody says that, I'm afraid of ghosts, I said, no, you're not. We're all really more in tune than we think we are. If people would stop looking so far outside for answers, or for somebody to teach or educate them on what they already know, we'd be a lot better off. They just need to just kind of listen. I mean, usually when people have paranormal activity around them, a great deal of the time it isn't even something they're experiencing is negative. They take it, they have the reaction that they have, and then they start building it up and looking to others and talking, and that's when it becomes something completely different. Most people can live in harmony.
I usually tell people I'm more afraid of the living than I am the deceased.
Well, the energy is so much more truthful on the other side. It's so much more clear and manageable, and just sort of, it is what it is. It's just raw and truth.
It feels like it's more understandable, too, when it comes through, where when you have a living person, you're like, oh.
This is complicated. I got to get through the layers. I know.
Big ball of things coming at you, versus with a spirit or a ghost or whatever. You kind of have it figured out pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's pretty black and white. That's how I like to keep it.
One of the main reasons that Joy and I don't do many of the what are called entertainment or public quote unquote ghost hunts, which
Yeah.
I don't use the term ghost anyway. It's because what you don't know if the energy you're picking up on, whether it be a voice or anything else, is not the energy of someone who's either with you in that group of 200 of your closest friends who happen to pay $200, or somebody who was there before who, there was a time when there was provoking going on where people would go in and kick things around and curse and everything else. That leaves an energetic impression as well, too. So you come out and say, well, gee, I got, this weird thing happened. It must have been the ghost of Charlie who was executed in this corner. I said, no, it was Leo who was here last week. Got a little drunk before he went in, and he left the home too. So that's what people have to realize. There's more to it than just going in and saying that everything in the building is a ghost. Everything in the building is energy. Doesn't mean it's someone who died. It could be someone who's living who, not a very good person.
Right. I would love to have you come in and speak. We have a Ivy League Psychics Paranormal Project. We're doing a documentary right now, and we're, putting a team together to go basically clean up the aftermath of all of that, the supposed ghost hunting and these paranormal investigations where the teams go in, and while some of the team members are capable of protecting themselves, not all of them, but some of them, they start bringing in people off the streets, and these people are bringing home all kinds of issues, and then they're sick, and then there's depression, drug and alcohol abuse, so this is a major part of my client base are people who need correction after a situation like that. And, it would just be interesting to have you here, even if maybe we just Skype you in, Clay. That would be great to have you speak on some of your perspectives, because we really feel the same way that you do. Like, that's not the kind of thing that we want to encourage or feed. We're sort of cleaning up and bringing the healing. Well, it starts as curiosity, it can turn into a whole lot more, and it's a polluted situation.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of paranormal groups only know as much as they see on the TV shows. That's why you see, I don't know that I've seen a paranormal group, maybe a couple that don't have black T-shirts. It's more important to have T-shirts to sell than it is to actually do the work and do some research and know what you're doing, instead of going into a person's home and all of a sudden saying everything that's in the home is demonic when you have no idea what a demon is, if there is a demon, or what you haven't done any background on are they using medications? Do they have an alcohol problem? I mean, it's all sorts of things you need to, before you even go and do an investigation. But most people, they just want to go in, put their cameras up, wear their caps, and come out saying they're ghost hunters. And that's really gotten us to a bad point to some degree.
Yeah, and it was fine, when they just wanted to do that with themselves, that was one thing, and granted it was stirring up spirit activity, and it wasn't being helpful for the spirits. I don't see anybody offering much help, to any spirits that were actually found that were, that were in a bad state, crossing over much of anything of that nature. But then when we brought the general public into the predicament, I mean, this is when my paranormal, the cleansing started to just explode. It's just out of control. And again, what we have to see, I guess, is that this is a blessing in disguise, because in conjunction with this problem that has been created by, the TV industry and the media and all these supposed, paranormal investigators, while this gets bigger, and the mental illness and the drug and alcohol abuse and all that does as well, they need solutions. And that's where we come in. And, thank God there's someone watching the backbone here. It does open up other opportunities for us, Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I always have wondered, watching these shows, for a long time ago, for a while, I was a big fan of, ghost hunters and stuff like that. And I always wondered, okay, what happens? What happens after they leave? Do they help them to cross over? Do they help them to go where they need to go? And it's dealing with all of this and developing mediumship and so forth, I'm always well, they need help too.
Yeah.
Whether it's residual or whatever's going on. Even what Clay has said about a live person's energy can still kind of exist in a space. I absolutely agree. I think that's a wonderful way to put that.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, you have to also, I don't want to bash all the TV shows, because I know some of the folks on a lot of shows. You have to give them credit for at least one thing. If not for those shows that came on 10, 11, 12 years ago, we may not be here talking, because up until that point, it was, very, very, it's still a very small segment of the population, but back then it was even smaller, because people didn't talk about it for either religious convictions or whether people thought you were crazy. And it goes not only with, spirit investigations, it goes with UFOs, because on my show, I have UFO investigators, I have Bigfoot investigators. I talk to them as well too, and it's gotten to the point where everybody can actually come out and talk about it. And I think Theresa asked me what they asked me after I do a talk, whatever question they asked me. Usually, people have something to ask you about or give you a story, but they never had the opportunity to give that story out because they felt like they would be shunned. So by you all doing the work you do, by us going out and doing lectures, it gives people an avenue, an outlet to actually ask the questions, something serious, or get something off their chest. And that's more important than going out and trying to sell a book or trying to sell a T-shirt or trying to get into somebody's home to see if you can capture an EVP to play for your buddies the next day. If you don't take something from the work you do to grow yourself internally, spiritually, mentally, whatever, then you're wasting your time.
Well, it really has worked out to be a yin-yang situation. I mean, it really has become, a blessing in disguise. I mean, we're able to use it, even though it's creating some problems. We are able to use it, and again, as comical as some of these shows can be, it is opening up the door, for really people's curiosity, and it's a good time. I'm happy to be live right about now, doing all this. Now, Clay has, again, he has a show on Live Paranormal called Spirit Watch Radio. So listen to him there. But Clay, what else do you have coming up? I know you said you're publishing the book soon, the second volume of the Book of Clay. But what about like lectures, events? I know you and your wife are doing a lot more. What's going on with you?
Yeah, we just finished up, my wife and I, we did a series of weeks of lectures at Shenandoah University here in Virginia, where we live. That's actually our fourth year in a row that we've been invited to come to the university and speak. It's been well received. We won't be speaking, but we'll be appearing at the Butler, Pennsylvania Paranormal Conference that comes up on April 16th. We'll be also at the Penhurst Paracon. I think it's the first weekend in June. We'll be there as well too. I'll be doing a solo lecture at the Exchange Hotel in Gordonsville, Virginia. It has a very long history going back to the Civil War. I'll be lecturing and appearing there. I think that's June 18th, if I'm not mistaken. And we have a few residential investigations that we're still working on, trying to finalize as well too. So we stay busy, and of course the research and the work is always going on. My wife is actually very busy between the classes she teaches and the clients she sees, and working a full-time job on top of it. So it's a full life. It's a happy life.
Just a normal day. Just a normal day. And I know you have a beautiful grandbaby because I've been seeing her pop up on Instagram. So congratulations on that. Is she's what, 2 now?
2.5. Yes, 2.5 going on 27.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You know what, Clay? We were going to let you go, but do you have time to stay with us for another second? We have a question coming in for you.
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay.
This is from Catwoman from Para X. Do negative spirits that attach to you follow you in future lives?
Do negative spirits follow me and attach to me?
That's interesting. So the question is, do negative spirits that attach to someone, is it possible for them to follow them into future lives?
When I get there, I'll let you know.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I feel like we should say yes, but yeah, what?
I can't. I mean, how do you answer that? I mean, because I believe that we have dimensions of time. Our past, our present, our future are all happening and repeating themselves every nanosecond. That kind of goes back to when I talked about when you see an apparition, are we actually just seeing a different dimension of time still occurring from the past or even the future? I talk about that because I talk about UFOs too. If you take that there is another life after the future, maybe the UFOs that we see are actually us, our society, coming back and abducting people from this time period to see how we screwed up ourselves to end up looking like what they say grays or little men look like. But what people need to realize is don't keep it on just the level of negative spirits and negativity attaching to you and taking to a next life. Look inside and make sure that demon, if you want to call it, is not you. That's the demon you look out for. It's the demon you carry within you. That's what you're going to carry with you into the next life.
Well said.
Dead on. I know, right on, man. That's right.
I don't think I could answer that any
That's
better.
I was like that pretty much sums it up right there. So yeah, okay. It starts with us. Be empowered. Clay, thank you so much for coming on. Looking forward to talking to you again soon. Just many, many blessings with everything that you and your wife are doing. Tell her hello. And, hope to be able to see you at one of these events coming up soon.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate the time and look forward to seeing everybody in person, okay?
Okay. All right. You take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Be well.
Bye-bye. All right. Love him.
That was great.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, guys, so I know that we have some questions coming in here through text, and also I want to say from like Para-X and Facebook, so we are going to get to those in a minute, but it's really refreshing. Can I just, take a moment to bask in the light of Clay? I mean,
it is like a ray of sunshine.
He is a ray of sunshine. I mean, in the paranormal, darkness and the whole, coming out of it literally. I mean, there are some of us who are out there that are, doing it, but from another perspective.
Mm-hmm.
We're in it, but we're not in it the way you think we're in it. We are really trying to bring the healing. And
it definitely helps to hear, too, with other people, with Clay's perspective and everything, that helps us to know that we can do that as far as that goes, just to keep pushing forward and everything,
mm-hmm.
And it really, really helps with that, because the healing is just so important, not just with the living, but with
mm-hmm.
spirit, with deceased, and so forth.
And I'm looking forward to the next book because, his second volume of books, he was saying they're inspirational quotes. And we're talking about thought control. We're talking about manifestation, law of attraction. And it's amazing. People underestimate what a simple thought, just being able to read the book and pick out a couple quotes that you keep around. I mean, his first book is amazing. And, replace a negative thought with something positive. So get his book, put the quotes up around the house, keep them in your car, wherever you need them, and use it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, people don't really realize how powerful the mind and even your voice is. There's so much power in the words alone and your intention and everything. And it's kind of funny because it's when people say something and then it happens, it's oh, wait a second,
mm-hmm.
did I do that or what?
Yeah,
what I mean? So it's
absolutely.
You really have to be careful, with our thoughts, with our words and everything else.
And a lot of people carry this guilt.
Yeah.
Or too much, gratification to the self for what they created. And I said, you did do that. So I don't know how to tell you yay or nay.
Point the finger, that's on you.
Yeah, really. I mean, I don't know. We're like a bunch of witches around here or something. But who needs a spell when you can have a thought? Okay, so let's start getting on to some of these questions. And who wants to go first over here with our lovely interns? Okay. What is the first question coming in? Where is this coming from?
All right. This is from Para-X. This is from Snoop. I can't read your handwriting. Snookum Kim.
Oh, we know Snookum Kims. You just have to all finish it for you.
Someone that doesn't know me said my energy presents as sad and lonely, which I am not at all. I am a shy person, but not unfriendly. Is there any way I can change the way my energy projects through intention?
She feels really guarded. I think that's what comes out. She feels really kind of guarded. Well,
and this would have been a great question, for Clay.
Too.
Yeah, for Clay as well. We probably could have just kept him on with these. But, here's the thing that I'm getting with you. First of all, is that it's only going to make it worse to kind of address it and to allow it to bring you down further. So the first thing I would say is that I would take it, you never want to be offended by what somebody else said, but anytime somebody says something to me that seems negative and it strikes a chord with me that kind of makes me sick to my stomach, that is my sign that that person's words are not to be allowed into my energy. And that's the first thing I would do with a statement, like that is offensive to you in some way. I think that it will only feed, okay, whatever you're giving off that wasn't, pleasant, or that they felt, the need to say that to you. I also, I've had people say that to me like, oh, well, I look at your eyes and your eyes are so sad and heavy. And I'm like, thank you. What the heck am I supposed to do with this information? Pull out my eyeballs and get repaired?
Let's look at that closely.
Oh, how much is a glass eyeball if I get rid of... Like, what help is this to me? So when people make, unhelpful, remarks, just kind of blow them off. But this is the other thing, what you can do... regardless, and I'm not saying that I necessarily feel that off of you, but I feel like you have sort of a tame energy. I feel like you have kind of an easygoing energy. A lot of people these days with the chaos and the anxiety, they'll read that as lower. And it isn't necessarily. Slow does not mean low. So, with it, I think that when you're around other people, put the intention out there. Be like, okay, today, every time I'm in a social situation, I'm going to be mindful before I walk in that I'm giving out positive, maybe elevated high energy. And even if you're mellow, it still is going to come off that way. I think of loving intention every day. Every time I have to go be around, and I have to remind myself chronically, the loving intention, I love you, I love you. Yeah. But try to think I'm giving love. I'm giving calm and peace and love.
Yeah, and it's like we always talk about, positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative, but there's always going to be some sort of negative in an environment. But the other thing is, too, is some people who are really just extremely negative all the time can view positivity as a threat.
Absolutely.
So it's like there may be a little bit of that going on, and what do? They say something to try to knock it down so that the person that is being positive isn't getting, like they come down and they become more of they get low.
Misery loves company.
Exactly. But I also thought of the whole I'm rubber, you're glue defense, where, you basically, honestly, put a shell around yourself, a positive protection shell around yourself, and pretend it's made of rubber. So this stuff's bouncing right off of you, and you can kind of go forward through your day. It's easier said than done sometimes not to let things get to you, but... Right. Don't let it pull you down.
But again, in the beginning, we did both feel she was a little guarded.
She feels very guarded,
which is smart because you're an empath and you're a healer. So of course we are. But the thing is, if you intentionally give out, I always tell other empaths at the end of the Empathic Means lecture, give out your energy, spread it out. The rest of the world is either retracting or guarding or putting out toxic. So go for it. Put it out there. Shine the light. Let it go.
Either people love me or they go ugh and they walk away.
Yeah, love or hate. Plus, what is it? They say scientifically 10% of all people will not like you no matter what you do.
No matter what you do.
So, whatever. You seem fabulous to us, so just keep shining. What's the next question we have coming in?
This is from ParaX from user Catwoman. Hi, Ivy and Tree. So I had this vision while awake of a white door. It was almost antique looking and clearly old. It was only about an inch. However, behind it, I could see this beautiful golden light. This light made me feel, and then that's the end.
This light made me feel. That's the end. Okay, well, good. I'm feeling pretty positive about it,
right?
Yeah.
No, it actually seems like it. So wait, let me get this straight. The door was open. It's a white door with a white light, and it's open?
There was light coming out of it. The door was ajar. And
right, okay. It feels almost like what you tell us a lot of the time, like even with people like sitters, the guinea pigs, you tell them, imagine a door, open the door. To help with the energy. This actually kind of feels like one of those, like, enlightenment type moments, where the white, the white light, the white door, everything's good, just open yourself up, and don't be afraid of it.
Absolutely.
That's what that feels like to me.
And I'm going to answer this in just a second here. I want to say, if you guys still want to send in...
Catwoman just messaged, the light made me feel wonderful.
The light made her feel wonderful. Okay. Well, we kind of assumed. That sounds super positive. So I'm going to answer that in a second, but I just want to say as I'm choking, not again this week, please, God, no. So... if you guys want to text your questions in, 716-602-1391. Again, 716-602-1391. Or you can go onto Facebook on the Ask a Medium business or event page for ParaX, and you can post your questions there as well. Now, So with this, I do believe I answered this question actually a couple weeks ago on the live Ask a Medium show, which follows this radio show, and the show was deleted, unfortunately. But I can sort of go back to what I had seen, that night, and I feel like I'm like very easily able to tap into this tonight. And usually I have something I call psychic amnesia, where I can't recall anything. But with this question, I feel a tremendous amount of positivity. I'm feeling prosperity. I feel as though you subconsciously gave the energy, or consciously gave the energy to affect some situations in your life where you're seeking answers, you're seeking movement. And sort of like we were talking about earlier with Clay, you had certain thoughts. You energetically shifted things so that they're working in a more positive manner. And I feel like this was Spirit's way, or your higher mind as well, your way of allowing this vision to come through to you so that you could clearly see sort of what you had created and what you were deserving of. It feels also very symbolic, the fact that it's white light coming through the door, the fact that it is a door, and the fact that the door is open it's a triple prosperity symbol. Now, what that can mean sometimes is that that's how much it is opened. It's also a symbol for how much more work there may need to be done. So it's recognition that you're on the right path with your thoughts and your energy, and that positivity is coming in. Here it comes, get ready for it, and there's a lot more room for development with it.
Yeah, I'm hearing this is just the beginning.
Yep.
So yeah, it's good though. It's all positive. So yeah.
Yay. Exciting. Yay for you. We finally got around to that one. How hilarious that I'm choking too, because she was watching the one show and I started choking. A whole family full of smokers came in at last week's show, and I coughed for a consistent hour and could not get to this one. So comical that it would start again right now. I'm not putting up with this. Do we have another one coming through, Garcia?
This one's from Para X from Smoochgo. Do you ladies see any obstacles coming up in my new job?
I'm almost seeing a male energy coming through, which can just either be a dominant energy or a male energy, I want to say, in this situation. But I feel like the dominant energy coming through, almost kind of needling or just being irritating, being annoying, just kind of meddling. Like, you ever have one of those people around who just they just have to stir stuff up. They don't have a life of their own, that they're really active in enough that they just... This is what they do, like it's a career for them. So I do sense someone around who's just looking to stir. And I feel like, you know what? Don't even... That shell that you mentioned earlier for the other girl.
Yeah, the rubber your glue kind of thing. Yeah. No, I'm totally feeling where you're going with this too, and I'm kind of getting one of those people that are like bossy, but not the boss of you.
Not at all.
Not
like
at
they
all.
have no power, so who cares?
Almost like they're trying to push their seniority out. That's what it's kind of feeling like. Like I'm you got to listen to me when you really don't.
Right, and I feel like it's done a lot of times in bizarre criticisms, that are sort of, how do I want to say? It's almost criticism based on like a sarcastic, but I'm smiling and I'm laughing about it when I say it to you, and I feel like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Oops, gotta go. And I feel like on the run.
It feels like it will mellow out over time, though. It just kind of feels like it's something that's in the forefront.
As long as,
and then it'll just
don't
mellow.
feed it.
Don't feed it, exactly.
Absolutely. Okay.
But yeah, other than that, the job actually looks pretty good.
Okay. I'm not sure what this is.
It's just somebody that's going to be leaving for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Did you want to wish them on?
Is this a question? Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, one of our viewers are going to be leaving for 6 weeks.
Oh, who
Don't
is
leave
that?
us. No, you can't
For
go.
6 weeks. Jeez, to learn sign language. Okay, so that's, how do we say this? Jinsai.
Jinsai. Oh,
okay.
Goodness. Okay.
All right, thank
Well,
you,
we will
Jinsai.
miss you. We know you'll miss us.
That's exciting, though.
That is really
okay,
exciting.
So that's pretty awesome. So go learn, heal the world. You're awesome. We're looking forward to having you back, and you can always log on, keep in touch with us, anyways. In between, if you can. But thank you for being with us.
Congrats to that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a major undertaking.
Yeah,
very exciting. Okay, very cool. So now I know we have another one coming in from over here, or do I want to get over to these through text? Okay, let's see what we have here. We have from a 248. Will I, in the future, get a better job in the field that I'm already in? Okay, let's see what's going on with this. In the field that you're already in, it's funny that you say it that way, because the first thing that I'm really getting is almost like, even if you can, is this the field that you're supposed to stay in? You got that with this?
Yeah,
with this
not
one?
like the field feels like it's at the end of the field, like the grass is cut. I hate to refer it that way, but it's like, come out of the field and it's different.
And it's really not, like, this is what, I mean, when we say, like, don't beat a dead horse.
Right.
When something's over, and we were talking earlier with Clay about when something's over, just sort of allow it to be over. Yeah. I teach my students that there are 3 different phases to Spirit's approach, okay, and to our own, energetic approach with ourselves to evolving. And the first phase is suggestion. Okay, like Spirit will suggest, or we will suggest to ourselves that maybe we need to move on. Most people hold on for dear life at their point. That they really don't even entertain that, most people. But then the second level of it, I call it the pinching phase. We start to become uncomfortable. Maybe the job is threatened. Maybe the money is looking a little insecure. Maybe the spouse starts to look like they have instability with their job, and it makes us question our own. Should we have made the improvements we needed to make? And that's where it starts to become uncomfortable. Most people at that point, they grip, they set their claws in, and they hang on. That would not be the right thing to do. The third phase, I call it the breaking of the legs. And what happens at that point is that literally, Spirit will find a way, the universe, your own energy will find a way, okay, to create a situation for you, whether it is literally breaking a limb, breaking down your car, taking your money away. They will take your mobility so that you're put in a state where you have no other choice but to examine, how did I get here? What went wrong? What will make it right? And what do I really want to do, since I have nothing but time on my hands? And nobody wants to get to that place. But if we're not careful, that is absolutely what will happen. So, yeah. I mean, basically what I'm feeling is what you're feeling. Is that, like, the end of the road? But the trick of it is this, right? We don't necessarily stop getting opportunities to stay. Right. It's possible that there could be another promotion. It's possible that you could get, I feel like, one more, honestly.
I was just going to say that I feel like there's room for growth. Like, I feel like there's just beyond that point. Like, there is another situation that's going to, but it feels very small, though. It's only a small room for that growth, for that movement.
And after that, it feels like nothing. Yeah. So, one more opportunity within the field, but I think some soul searching really needs to be done. And what I'm seeing you do is running things kind of on your own. I'm feeling you in a more managerial type of a position, whether it's, self-employed, being able to help other people with what you already know. And I also feel like being divided up between two different things. Okay, being able to kind of pursue what you want to pursue, also with fun, with family, with friends, in a social way. So volunteer, start moving in some other directions and be open to what's happening, because it is a big transition out of the field entirely. But thank you for that question.
And good luck.
Yeah, definitely. It just feels positive. Again, what we were talking about earlier, it's all in the mindset. Yeah. If you see it as negative or it's fear-based because, I don't want to get out of this, I'm terrified to get out of this, then of course, we'll be feeding that energy and more of that predicament. I want to, review a couple of the things that we've going on here, either through the Ivy League Psychic Academy or with, Tree and I, coming up. So we have at 8:30 Eastern Time on Ustream TV, we have the live Ask a Medium show that I host. If you guys have questions that you want to send in for that, again, you can text them, 716-602-1391, or you could do that through Ustream. And we have the Psychic Fair coming up, the Ivy League. Very excited. The Ivy League Psychics. I train them all by hand here at the Academy.
I have the handprints to prove it, folks. No, I'm kidding.
And We have also, though, astrology, who I did not train. Tarot, who Reverend Amy List trained here at the Academy. So we have astrology, we have tarot, we have psychic mediumship. We have 2 gallery reads going on.
Yay, I'm so excited because I will be in the first gallery with your 2 beautiful daughters, Rainin and Garcia. And
Rainin is 16. She's been reading for the public for over 2 years now, and Garcia is 12, and she's making her psychic mediumship debut
and
at
also
that gallery.
Mandy Sue, who is part of she has scleroderma, and she's like the person who's trying to help get this whole thing together and raise awareness and everything, and also Brittany Rose. So the 5 of us, that's going to be a full stage. The 5 of us are going to be on at 3 o'clock on April 16th at the Seneca Host Fire Hall. And then after that, a few of us will be doing private reads, and
absolutely.
And then you have a gallery too,
and you'll be selling your jewelry.
I'll be selling my jewelry,
and
too.
We'll have local artists, authors, jewelry makers, and many products to support all natural, organic things like this. For the mind, body, soul, massage. I believe reflexology, and we do have like Mark Vellante, the no-touch spinal realignment guy. We just absolutely adore him. Reiki practitioners, all of that to support. So it's the Ivy League psychics supporting scleroderma awareness. And yes, I'm doing a gallery at, I believe, 6 p.m. I think. And the proceeds from the tag are going toward, all of that is going towards sclero.
100%. 100%. It's $5 a ticket for the 3 o'clock gallery. Okay. And 100% all proceeds go to Scalero. Right.
So, check us out. So, April 16th, you can find a lot of that on Facebook. And we have classes coming up here at the Academy. Coffee with Your Angels, Meet Your Guides. Level 1 Psychic Mediumship Development starts on the 24th. Then we have, I believe, another round of tarot. And we have astrology and how astrology affects your karma. Meditation classes, and I'm doing another event for children coming up. It's going to be sort of an all-day event, like a kids' psychic fair. Basically, we're also bringing back, because the weather's nicer, free pet Reiki. So you could bring your animals in here, and we'll be giving free Reiki also to the public. So you guys, keep an eye out. Now, if you want to book a reading with me, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com, or you can find me on Facebook. Did you want to talk about the stone of the day? Or are we out of time for this?
I think we're out of time. Yeah, I can bring it up next week. It's amethyst, so we'll have to make sure that we bring up amethyst next time.
We definitely need to talk about this
next week. So yeah.
Okay. And where can they find you if they want to book?
On Facebook, I have a mediumship page now, so just type in Theresa Tree Matuszak Psychic Medium. It'll pop up.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Coming to you from the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where we are raising up the next generation of light workers.
Good night.
Blessings.